Hello all, and welcome back to Behind the Seams with your narrator Jay from Infield Media. If you're new here, it's a pleasure to meet you, and if you're returning, then it's great to see you again. For those who are new here, let me tell you a little bit about what Behind the Seams is all about. It's about the beauty of baseball and the wonderful stories that began with the earliest days of the game and have since continued on. Unfortunately, some of these stories have been lost to the times, and players have either been forgotten or just simply unheard of. I'm taking it upon myself to bring these players and their stories back to the light they so rightfully deserve. In this episode, we'll be deep diving into a player with one of the most historic last names in all of baseball, DiMaggio. And no, we're not talking about Joe. We're not even talking about Vince. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce you to the little professor, Dominic DiMaggio. Before we jump into the story and the many others, be sure to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest episodes. Maybe even think about sharing so we can continue to spread baseball knowledge throughout the world. Anyway, let's jump into it. Dominic Paul DiMaggio was born on February 12, 1917 to parents Giuseppe and Rosalie DiMaggio, who together had 9 kids. I feel like this is almost every episode now where we talk about families that just have an abundance of kids. I don't think anyone's beaten Monty Irvin's 12 brothers and sisters, but 9 kids is still a lot. Family grew up in San Francisco, and when Dom was young, he and his brother Joe would sell newspapers to help bring in money. Their father worked hard as a fisherman who believed in a strong work ethic, and their mother worked as a former school teacher. Now, you would think that with how all 3 of their kids' baseball careers spanned, that their father would have supported baseball in their youth, right? Well, you'd be wrong. Their father found it frivolous, and baseball went against his strong work ethic code. It was indeed their mother who covered for them so that they could play baseball. Supportive moms just never go out of style. It was once said that Joe had the best bat, Tom had the best glove, and Vince had the best voice since he had aspirations to become an opera singer. Not really sure what the other 6 kids got themselves into, but I can imagine they had the best of something for themselves as well. Truth be told, when I heard that Joe had the best bat, Dom had the best glove, I was like, well, then Vince has to be the fastest of them, right? Like, Vince has to be able to do something well himself. You could have given me 15 chances to answer what he was good at. Opera singer would have not even been on the board for me. Anyway, in high school, Dom really didn't have a baseball dream as many others, as he aspired to actually be a chemical engineer. But during his time in school, he was offered an academic and baseball scholarship to Santa Clara College. Surprisingly, Dom turned down the scholarship and decided to follow his brother's footsteps. His brother Vince had won himself a roster spot on the San Francisco Seals of the Pacific League in 1932, which in turn helped Joe to get on the team when the shortstop position became available. If you know how this goes, the San Francisco Seals were one of probably the best Pacific Coast baseball teams ever. And Joe DiMaggio is arguably the greatest player to ever come up in the Pacific Coast League. And it's more because of, like, he struggled very early in his rookie years in the Pacific Coast League, but when he turned it around, there was just no one better. Absolutely no one better. When he made the move to center field, it was like the whole world opened up to him. It was just incredible. Anyway, Dom, who was still in high school in 1934, was having a great year himself, as not only was he pitching quite well, but he was batting around 400 as shortstop. After high school, he joined up with a Sandlot team called the North Bay Merchants, playing shortstop while working at a mattress factory. During this time, he was being scouted by the Seals, the team which both of his brothers had played for, and he was invited to a joint baseball tryout which was held by both the San Francisco Seals and the Cincinnati Reds. He must have done something right, as he was brought in rather quickly to sign a contract for the Seals. I mean, I guess when you have the same last name as one of the greatest Pacific Coast League players, it's got to be worth a shot to signing. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is he's not Joe. It's how it goes, man, when you have a last name like that. 1936, Joe finally made it to the Yankees, and the following year, Vince made it to the Boston Braves. Our boy Dom, though, debuted with the Seals in 1937 and played really well, hitting .306, but he came under a lot of criticism. A lot of people believe that the only reason he made the team was because of his last name and not based on the skill that he actually had. It put a chip on Dom's shoulder, and in 1938, he added another 2 points to his batting average, hitting .308, 5 home runs, and adding 60 RBIs. 1939, and after adding some muscle, Dom had his breakout year with the help from manager Lefty O'Doul, who had also helped Joe years earlier raise his batting average. Dom hit an extraordinary .361, 14 home runs, and 82 RBIs. He finished second in batting, but was able to secure the PCL MVP award. Dom led the league in hits, runs scored, but he finished second in stolen bases and triples. It's not bad at all. I mean, it was just an outstanding year and one that caught the attention of the Boston Red Sox as they immediately bought his contract for $75,000. His former manager, Lefty O'Doul, had nothing but kind words to say about Dom and even said something along the lines of how Boston is going to absolutely idolize him. Now it was just up to Dom to put the work in. I mean, could you imagine you and 2 of your brothers out of 9 kids all making it to the major leagues? Like, that's insane. And you're all playing for 3 separate teams. And mind you, if you know, you know. The Boston Red Sox and the Yankees have been at each other's throats for God knows how long. And you could even point back to the curse of the Bambino if you really wanted to, which turned the tide completely. I mean, we'll get into that, obviously. April 16th, 1940, Dom DiMaggio made his MLB debut. Though he went 0-4 against Washington, it didn't stop him from having a stellar rookie year as he went on to hit .301, 8 home runs, 46 runs batted in, 81 runs, and an OPS of .831 in just 108 games. Not bad at all for the young DiMaggio. Surprisingly, before the season, Dom didn't believe that there was actually a spot for him in the Sox outfield as they were already carrying 4 outfielders, which included future Hall of Famer Ted Williams. Luckily, Dom had himself a great spring training and he actually won the right field job over Lou Finney. And later that season, the Red Sox decided to move Dom to center where he would remain for his entire career. The Red Sox even traded Doc Kramer to the Senators, which had showed the amount of faith that they actually had in Dom to do well. So, I mean, yeah, it's very fair to say that when you see an outfield that already has 4 guys and you're a 5th man coming in, the odds are not in your favor. But Dom didn't give up. He had himself a great spring training, won a job in right field, and then later in the season, they moved him to center, and then they proceeded to trade another guy just to make room for him. Hard work always matters. That's one thing that you can take from that, is that if you work hard, people will notice, and sometimes good things will happen. Sometimes. 1941, and coming into the season, knowing his role, he was surely more confident this time around. Unfortunately, Dom didn't start the season how he wanted and said it was because of tender hands from playing cards. No, man. I'm just a messenger. Luckily, he was able to turn it around, batting a solid .283 and a .792 OPS, adding on 8 home runs and 58 RBIs, which was good enough to make his first All-Star game appearance, in which he drove his brother Joe in with an RBI single. So you and your brother both make it to the All-Star game, and then you drive him in with an RBI? It's like something out of a fiction book. It's awesome. A good season that would be followed with many question marks. And what I mean by question marks is that this was around the time of World War II. And with players not being exceptions to draft, it was a matter of when and not if. Luckily, Dom didn't get called and played the 1942 season, hitting a very respectable .286, an OPS of .801, adding 14 home runs, 48 runs batted in, and he actually scored 110 runs on his way to his second All-Star appearance. Around this time was when Dom earned the nickname the Little Professor. He got it due to his stature, which he stood at 5'9", he weighed 168 pounds, and he had a set of glasses to help correct his nearsightedness. Unfortunately, because of his vision issues, he was turned away from the Navy, but did continue to scratch and claw until he was finally drafted after the 1942 season ended. Dom would play baseball for the Norfolk Navy Training Station in Virginia and did go overseas to do his duty as well. Dom would not return home until 1946. When Dom returned home, he was one of over 500 players to serve in World War II, including the famous wartime pilot Ted Williams. Wartime pilot and his teammate. If you don't know Ted Williams' pilot history in World War II, I highly recommend you look it up, because this wasn't someone who was just like, well, let me take a picture in a plane. No, this dude was in the air. Ted Williams was up there fighting. Maybe we'll do a behind the scenes on Ted Williams if you guys want to see that, because I would be down to talk about it. Anyway, the Red Sox getting a bunch of players back was a huge positive, as they had an amazing season, finishing with a record of 104-50. A record good enough to finish 12 games ahead of Detroit and 17 games ahead of the Yankees. Even though Dom had missed a handful of years, he didn't miss a beat. He finished the season hitting .316, 7 home runs, and 73 runs batted in, helping the Red Sox reach the World Series for the first time since 1918. Of course, if you're a baseball fan, you already know how the story goes, but if you're confused, let me just point you to the Curse of the Bambino. I mean, if you guys are interested, we can do a behind the scenes on like other things in baseball. It doesn't have to be just players. Like, if you want me to talk about the Curse of the Bambino, the Black Sox scandal, you want me to talk about the Louisville Grays in 1881, who was kind of the first team to sell the World Series, please let me know. I am so down to learn more about baseball. Anyway, either way, the Red Sox were set to face the Cardinals in the World Series. Dom actually had a solid series, but his biggest moment would come in Game 7. He would tie the game on what looked like a triple off the wall, except for one big problem. Rounding first base and heading to second, he popped his hamstring and was forced to settle for a double. He would be removed from the game, and the Cardinals would end up winning the game later on a hit to center field to score the winning run where Dom would have been if not for his injury. Ask any Red Sox fan and they'll tell you the Curse of the Bambino was definitely real. I couldn't imagine, man, being the best person at my position, getting hurt, and then watching a ball go to that position where I was and feeling like if only I was out there, I could have made a difference, especially in a World Series Game 7. That's rough. That is very, very rough. Luckily, Dom in 1947 and 1948 combined for a .284 batting average, 17 home runs, 158 RBIs, and an OPS of .777. You guys like three numbers. It's not a bad one. In 1948, though, he scored 127 runs, drew 101 walks, and hit 40 doubles in 1948. I mean, it was a very good offensive year that doesn't get the appreciation it truly deserves. 1949 was another good year, including a hitting streak that would be the longest in Red Sox history, hitting safely in 34 consecutive games. Unfortunately, the hitting streak would come to an end against the Yankees, with his brother Joe making a catch in center field to officially break the streak. Sometimes you drive in your brother with an RBI single, and sometimes he catches a pop-up to end your hitting streak. Just gotta take him as it comes. During that streak, though, he hit .352, which was still very impressive. He would finish the 1949 season hitting .307 with 8 home runs and 60 runs batted in. 1949 would also be the first of 4 consecutive seasons that Dom would get back to the All-Star game. 1950, and by far Dom's best season of his career, which is funny to think about considering he was entering his age 33 season. Like, this goes back to Monty Irvin. Like, Monty Irvin came to the majors around 30, and then around 33, he had his best year as well. Something about turning 33 for some guys. You turn the page, you flip the switch. He truly showed up and showed out as he would hit .328, 7 home runs, and 70 runs batted in. He finished top 5 in hits with 193, and he even scored 131 runs. If you thought he was going to slow down, you would be dead wrong. In 1951, he continued his hot hitting, finishing the season hitting .296 with 12 home runs and 72 runs batted in. Once again, he scored over 100 runs and he had 189 hits. He even put together another hitting streak that went to 27 games. In 1952, Dom would actually only appear in 128 games, but he still finished the year hitting .294, 6 home runs, 33 runs batted in. He was still doing really good. This would actually be his last All-Star appearance, though, which is kind of crazy because now you can see where it starts slowing down. In 1953, and entering his age 36 season, New Sox manager Lou Boudreau decided that Dom was past his prime and decided to replace Dom with a new center fielder, Tommy Umflett. He would appear in only 3 games before deciding that he wouldn't be relegated to a bench player and decided on May 9th to officially retire from baseball. He would finish with a career average of .298, 1,680 hits, 87 home runs, and 618 runs batted in. Call me crazy, but was Lou Boudreau insane? I mean, Dom hit over 300 or close to 3 straight seasons before being benched. Like, what the hell made him believe that Dom was suddenly slowing down? I'm not saying he would have had another All-Star season, but at least give the man a chance to prove that he was no longer the player he used to be. Don't just assume it. Seems extremely unfair to cut him off and tell him that a .294 batting average wasn't good enough to keep his job. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tommy Umflett had a good rookie season. He hit .283, but after that season, he would leave Boston, go to Washington, and then he'd be out of baseball just 2 years later. It was just a big waste of the end of Dom's career. It's a shame. Shame on you, Lou. It doesn't matter, though, mainly because it was 72 years ago, and because Dom kept himself busy after his baseball career. After he retired from baseball, he would go on to found the American Latex Fiber Corporation with 2 partners in Massachusetts producing padding for many different things. Later on, he would buy out his 2 partners and began producing padding for seats in the automotive industry. He would also buy another company in Pennsylvania, merge the 2 together, and form the Delaware Valley Corporation, which produced innovative products for all different kinds of fields. Dominic DiMaggio Jr. is still labeled as a CEO as a recording of this episode. His son. Dom certainly didn't stop his business ventures there, as he would be involved in the operation of DiMaggio's restaurant in San Francisco, where they grew up, co-founder of the Boston Patriots football team, and was even the co-founder and once president of the Bo Sox Club. It's a fan organization to help bring baseball and the surrounding community together. Dom's wife, Emily, would even serve as a trustee with Boston's Jimmy Fund for a good while. He would spend his later years between his home in Massachusetts and Florida, as he unfortunately suffered from Paget's disease, a terrible disease that can only be described by bones breaking down but regrowing rapidly, resulting in larger, weaker, and deformed bones. May 8th, 2009, Dom DiMaggio would pass away at the age of 92 years old after contracting pneumonia. Dom was inducted into the Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame and the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame, but to this day, he has not found a home in Cooperstown, although former teammate Ted Williams certainly pushed for Dom to get inducted before his passing. Like Monty Irvin, who knows what could have been if Dom had not missed those years to the war. Thank you to Baseball Reference and Society for American Baseball Research for the information that was used in this video. Thank you all for tuning into this episode of Behind the Scenes on the Little Professor, Dom DiMaggio. While we're here, I just want to take a quick second and just wish you all a Happy New Year. And I just want to say thank you so very much for tuning into these episodes and all the love you guys share, the comments, the words of, telling me to keep going with this. Because there have been plenty days where I was making these and I did not know whether or not this was going to catch on, whether or not it was something people wanted to see. And the comments have just meant an absolute ton. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly love you guys. I love the comments. I love reading them. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Whenever I'm able to make these, I promise I'm going to keep these videos coming, because that's what you guys deserve. But my name is Jay, and I will see you all in the next episode of Behind the Scenes. Cheers, guys.